What would you do if a single, impulsive decision unraveled the life of the person you loved most? At my sister Lila's annual summer bash, I stood in the pulsing heart of her sprawling mansion, surrounded by laughter, clinking glasses, and the hum of carefree chatter. The air was thick with perfume and the promise of a perfect night. Lila, my radiant older sister, floated through the crowd like a queen, her silver dress catching the light as she charmed every guest. She was the sun, and I her quieter, plainer shadow watch from the sidelines, clutching a drink I barely sipped. But something felt off. Her smile was too tight, her laughter too sharp, and when I saw her slip a small vial into her purse, my gut twisted. That's when I made the choice that changed everything. I switched our drinks. Lila and I had always been close, despite our differences. She was the golden, child charismatic, successful, the kind of person who could sell ice to a glacier. I was the thinker, the observer, content to live in her orbit. Her parties were legendary, drawing everyone from local influencers to old high school friends. This year, though, there was an edge to her. She'd been distant for weeks, canceling our usual coffee dates, her texts curt and evasive. I chalked it up to her high-powered job as a PR executive, but the vial in her purse sparked a nagging suspicion. Was she hiding something? The party was in full swing when I noticed her pour a drink from a private bottle she kept behind the bar. She handed it to a man I didn't recognize at all, sharply dressed guy with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. They whispered, their heads bent close, and my curiosity burned. When Lila stepped away to greet a guest, I acted on impulse. I swapped my untouched gin and tonic with the drink she'd poured for him. My hands shook as I placed her glass in his hand, my heart pounding with a mix of guilt and defiance. I told myself it was nothing, just a harmless prank to see if she'd notice. But deep down, I knew it was more. I wanted answers. The man took a sip, and within minutes, his face changed. His polished demeanor cracked, replaced by a dazed, almost euphoric expression. He stumbled toward the dance floor, his movements erratic, drawing curious glances. Lila's eyes locked onto him, her face paling. She rushed over, her voice low and urgent, but he was already slurring, laughing too loudly, confessing secrets to anyone who'd listen. She told me to keep quiet, he babbled, pointing at Lila. Said it'd ruin her if it got out. The room stilled, the music seeming to fade as heads turned. My stomach dropped. What had I done? Lila's secret wasn't just a scandal, it was a bomb. The man, whose name I later learned was Victor, was her business partner. And he wasn't just tipsy. He was under the influence of whatever Lila had slipped into that drink. As he rambled, the truth spilled out. Lila had been siphoning money from their clients' accounts, funneling it into an offshore fund. She'd planned to pin it on Victor, drugging him tonight to make him seem unreliable, a liability. But my switch had backfired spectacularly. Victor's loose tongue exposed her scheme to a room full of her peers, her reputation crumbling in real time. I stood frozen, the glass in my hand feeling like a grenade. Guilt clawed at me. I'd only wanted to protect her, to understand what she was hiding. Instead, I'd lit the match that burned her world down. Lila's eyes met mine across the room, and for a moment, I saw a raw betrayal. She knew. Somehow, she knew I'd switched the drinks. But before I could approach her, a new figure emerged from the crowd, shifting the night's chaos in a way I never expected. It was our cousin, Mara, a soft-spoken librarian who rarely attended Lila's parties. She'd been lurking in the background all night, her quiet presence unnoticed until now. Mara stepped forward, her voice steady but trembling with emotion. "I knew about it," she said, addressing the stunned guests. "Lila came to me months ago, panicking about a mistake she'd made at work. She swore she'd fix it, but it spiraled. Mara's confession hit me like a slap. She'd known Lila was embezzling and said nothing, not even to me. I thought I was helping her by staying quiet. Mara continued, tears in her eyes. But I was wrong. I'm so sorry. The room erupted in whispers. Lila's face crumpled, her composure shattered. Mara's unexpected admission shifted the narrative. Lila wasn't just a villain. She was a desperate woman who'd made a terrible choice. My anger at her secrecy battled with a surge of empathy. Why hadn't she trusted me? Why had she gone to Mara instead? The question stung, but Mara's words reminded me of the sister I knew, the one who'd bandaged my scraped knees as a kid, who'd stayed up late helping me with college essays. Lila wasn't evil. She was human, flawed, and drowning in her own mistakes. As the guests dispersed, murmuring about lawsuits and investigations, I found Lila in the kitchen, staring blankly at a bottle of wine. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She didn't look at me. "I didn't want you to see me like this," she said. "You always looked up to me. I couldn't bear to lose that." Her words cracked something inside me. I'd spent my life idolizing her, but in that moment, I saw her for who she was. Not a superhero, but a person fragile and afraid. The fallout was brutal. Lila's career imploded. Her name splashed across headlines. Victor faced his own reckoning, but Lila bore the brunt of the blame. I wrestled with my role in it all. Switching the drinks had been reckless, but it had also forced the truth into the open. Should I have stayed out of it? Let her scheme play out? The guilt gnawed at me, but so did a strange relief. Lila's secret had been a poison, eating away at her. Now, she had a chance to rebuild, even if it meant starting from nothing. In the weeks that followed, Lila moved in with me. We really talked for the first time in years. She admitted to the pressure she'd felt to be perfect, to maintain the facade of success. I confessed my resentment, how I'd always felt like the lesser sister. Those conversations weren't easy, but they were honest. Mara joined us sometimes, her quiet wisdom bridging the gap between us. She'd made her own mistakes, keeping Lila's secret, but her courage in speaking up had changed the story's ending. The night I switched the drinks, I thought I was exposing a lie. Instead, I uncovered a truth. Perfection is a myth, and love messy. Complicated lovey is what holds us together when the masks fall. Lila's still picking up the pieces, and so am I. But we're doing it together, one honest step at a time. And maybe that's the real secret worth sharing.